Now here's the slash 4x4, very dusty. I like this body a lot, but I do knock hell out of it and it needs repairs again, and I don't want to totally wreck it. But sitting in the shed, this has been sitting here for years. A Proline body, so let's cut it out and see how well it fits onto the chassis. I thought I'd look up what the body looked like, and that's what it looks like, because this body I think is just about discontinued because it is old. So that's what it looks like. But let's get it cut out and on. Now with the base cut out done, I lined up the rear body posts. If you can just see, I've put a couple of black dots on the rear. So if we line that back up again, none of the dots on the front line up at all. Unless you turned around, well no, they just don't line up. So what I'm going to have to do is fit it on the rear and then carefully work out the front ones. Well, the holes did actually line up to the marks. All I had to do was flex the body mounts, because I'd noticed they were leaning slightly. Probably where the other body was put on. The only thing is it catches a little bit on the rear arches. So hopefully when it leans it's not too much of a problem, but I might have to put tape on the inside. But that is really tight on the rear. So if they have to have a bit more cutting on the rear, I'll have to do it. But like I said, this body's been lying around. So let's clean up all the edges. Now I've painted it and I've literally stretched old paint to the limit. I started off with what was left of a PS24 fluorescent orange that ran out, but it was enough coverage, so I backed it with some leftover really old PS7. That helped a bit, but I ran it on the side. Bit annoying. Then we went white and backed it with white. And they're basically almost run out, those two. And then the silver with a leftover silver. So basically I've spent nothing on paint. So now it'll be left overnight, and then where little blemishes have leaked through, because I weren't too worried because it's a using body, the decals will definitely hide. Here we go. He's had a night dry, or night to dry. Let's start peeling off the clear. See how clean this peels off. So far so good, we're in one piece. Well, I have to admit the mask came off really nice. So what do you think of that? Right, the next stage is I'm going to get the decals done and see what it looks like once they're on. Now I found some old Traxxas decals I put on the side that hid the slight paint problem. I added a few extra bits of line here for now. Just makes it look a bit different, a bit of line on the front to take away where it masks really badly. But overall I'm pleased with the way it's looking at the moment. So The next thing is if I can get my old sticky back plastic to work, 'cause it's not too good, and we'll do something with these here, because there's supposed to be a plate here which I'm not going to fit because it's something to catch onto, but I'm going to see if I can sort of fill that out with the sticky back plastic, and hopefully it looks a bit better. There we go, I roughed in the sticky back plastic. It's not perfect, but it just looks good. You know, these bodies are really standoff scale, so it's not really an issue to have something that looks a bit off, because once the eye's at a slight distance they'll look fine. So now I've got to think about, do I make some rubbing rails? Just got to think about it, what to make up. You know, I might make up some fancy bits for here, but don't know yet. Now, one thing I forgot to say is why the body's not fitting quite right, and then I realised it's the posts on the front are modified. They're raised up for the other truck, and I've got lowered at the rear. So what I've got to do is just fiddle around with it a bit to make it sit a bit better. So I'll probably take the spacer out and use the screws from the rear, and then we'll probably space up the rear, because like I said, these are cut down, so it'll raise them up again. Well, the body's on, but we hit a problem. I lowered the front and I found out, following their marks, the back is not too bad, but the front is terrible. So I put it up to the raised position so it sits down at the back and it clears. But as soon as I drop the body down, it really hits bad, so we'll keep it jacked up at the front so it looks more short cautious. But no, it's I'm on the markings as far back as possible, but if anything it's just shy of the bumper, but you've got to literally ram this into the bumper to make it fit right. If anything, it needed to go at least, if you had it on a lower suspension, it would have to go further forwards. But this is the strange thing. I'm going to take the camera off. Can you see? If I push it down, see how far forwards the wheel is? It clears, but you know, it's it definitely needed to be slightly forwards. The rear wheel shows it totally. If you look at that, you can see it's like practically at the front, clear at the rear. I can slightly trim the arch out to make it look a bit better if I wanted to, but I'll leave it for now because it works. So these are the problems you can run in. Like I said, I've not fitted an aftermarket body for years, and you know what I mean, it looks correct. You see at the rear, that's correct. And look at the front, literally just behind the bumper. And like I said, I went with the dots on the body. So their dots at Proline on this actual body when they made it was a country mile off. Before the final reveal of the body shell with the 3D printed silly parts I've put on it and the roof rails, you'll see when it's on, I done a bit of work to this. Only changed one thing, well, a couple of things actually. The centre drive shaft rattled like hell. So I put a O-ring each end on the spline and it takes the rattle out much quieter. Very pleased with that, simple mod. But the other thing was, this started its life as, you wouldn't believe it, a Traxxas Stampede 4x4 XL5. And I decided in the end to convert it to a short course truck, so we got a 4-wheel drive one. Well, I brought the low centre of gravity kit, which give you just about everything, just to swap everything over, and you have to buy a longer drive shaft and one of the ends you have to buy to do it. But the thing is, one thing I forgot to do and order, and funny enough I had something lying around to solve this issue, is the pinion. It still had the Stampede 9-tooth pinion. Yeah, so I've changed the pinion up from that 9-tooth, and luckily I'd lying around, I didn't know I had it, I found this, 17-tooth at 32p. So that is not quite up to what they say the gearing for 2S 40 miles an hour, because they say in 1854, so this is at 1754, so it's not going to be that much slower, but against a 9 tooth it's a huge increase in speed, and now this thing should be more like a Stampede 4x4 VXL. Because you might say, well, if it was the thing, did I buy the motor for this? Well, I also used to have a Rustler Rustler VXL, and I sold that off as an XL5 with the electrics from the Stampede, and I put the VXL system into this ages ago. So let's reveal the body. There we go. They're not perfect, but oh, we're a bit too. Can we go wider? No, we can't. That's the only thing with short, because they're big. There's the rubber, big roof rub bar, so if it lands upside down it's going to protect this roof section nicely. But what I did was I just was sodding about making some bits on the 3D printer, practicing just simple parts, and designed things to just stick on the back. But it's all practice in using CAD, which doesn't hurt. So when the weather improves, because this video won't be going out straight away, but hopefully I can get it running shortly and you'll see it running, and hopefully it looks good. But everywhere round here, just at this mo, after about over an inch of rain I'd say we had locally, because the floods were back very fast. Well, truthfully a lot worse. But like I said, by the time you see this running, hopefully things are dried up and we're starting to get out. So I'm going to take some nice pictures outside so you can see it in its full bright colours, and I shouldn't be able to lose that in the long grass.